Okay, thank you everyone for joining. So this is an exciting call because this is like a reintroduction to Sarah, who is my direct enroller sponsor. So Sarah is extremely busy and she has so many jobs and she's the co-founder of big companies and she has huge projects. So she hasn't been like as, like involved in go as like per network marketing. You can kind of do it how you want, which is awesome. But we wanted to do this little call to say like she's still available for you guys, like she's still here for you. And I wanted a chance for Sarah to talk about like why she chose Purium as a nutritionist, why it's the only thing she recommends, her backstory, like more about maybe some of the product stuff, and just so you guys get to know and see her and know that she is here for us, because Sarah's freaking awesome. And I wouldn't be here if Sarah hadn't have reached out to me. So it wasn't actually Allison, it was Sarah. So I'd love to like kind of open it to you, Sarah, to talk a little bit, and then you guys can just learn, because Sarah's a freaking master and a hero and like all the amazing things, and she works with us. It's like, ooh.
Thank you. Yeah, as Alice mentioned, Purium isn't my full-time, but I am a lifer. I'm not going anywhere. There aren't any comparable products on the market. I've been a nutritionist since 2013 when I finished my master's, and I never actually recommended supplements to people that I ever got any profit from, made money from, had a link to, nothing like that, because there was nothing that was good enough, honestly. I wanted everything to be heavy metal tested, glyphosate tested, which is almost impossible. Most people don't even know what glyphosate is. And so Allison, when I met her in Belize, she's the one that enrolled me. She's amazing. She was like, hey, do you know like what glyphosate is? And I was like, yes. And that's how the conversation started. And I had actually been looking into glyphosate detoxes and things like that for years. And there's lots of companies who claim they can help detoxify glyphosate, but they don't have any clinical studies. And when I started reading the clinical studies, I'm a big science girl. I was very excited. And so for me, it started with Biomedic. That was the obvious, intro to Purium, but then also the clinical studies on the super aminos are amazing. I think that is the most underrated product for skincare, because of the skin tightening, for energy. And I started doing a deeper and deeper dive, and I found that so many products that I was ordering from, specific ingredients from like 8 different companies, I could now get all in one place. And also I could get a commission off of it too, and feel very, very good about that, and not feel like I was just promoting crap like a lot of nutritionists do, because it's very easy to get affiliate programs with very, very high commissions for companies that really aren't that great and people aren't going to get results. So what really appealed to me about Purium the most was it's very easy, if the person's compassionate and open-hearted, to get people excited about potentially more plant-based diet. But what's a little bit harder is getting them to stick with it if they don't want to study nutrition, work with a nutritionist, meal plan, meal prep, all of that stuff. People can have gaps in their nutrition that are not easily filled if they're not on top of it. Unfortunately, the nature of eating an animal-based diet is that while it certainly comes with a lot of things that we don't want, it comes with more readily absorbable nutrients to the average person with an impaired gut. So Purium is how you can help people stay on a plant-based or plant-forward anti-inflammatory diet. And it can have all their needs basically covered, and it's laid out for them so simply. So of course, like Core 4 for me, that's the big one that I recommend to everybody. Then in the afternoon, I suggest Green Spectrum and Aloe Digest mixed together for a little bit more gut health. And then See From Nature. So those are kind of like the base that I get everybody to do. And then like, oh, hi, Nicole. Good to see you. Just chatting about favorite products, how I got into Purium as a nutritionist, why this works for me. And the beauty of it is as well is that most of my customers are my clients, and they just keep reordering. So you don't need to be a nutritionist to understand how the products work, because the training is so good. And your customers also do not need to have a nutrition degree, because they have, we can send them the knowledge base, everything in iLearn, so that they have access to understanding why the products work and what they do for the body. So yeah, that's my background. I've been plant-based for almost 12 years now, and Purium just made it so easy to fill those gaps and not worry, especially when traveling and things. So the way that I can best support you guys, if you need anything, I'm going to give you the link to my Calendly. Even though this isn't my full-time job, I'm director of nutrition for a stem cell company. So I focus a lot on that, but I'm still available to help if you have somebody with particular conditions, certain things that they are going to be seeking out, maybe a little bit more of a regimen for. If somebody wants to do a heavy metal detox and they're not sure, like, do I combine fulvic zeolites and chlorella? If they want to go a little bit deeper with the products, in the beginning, it's, you know, you don't necessarily need that. So you can just use me for general upline calls. I'm definitely here. But yeah, if you do want a little bit of a deeper dive for specific health conditions, reversing diabetes, things like that, then definitely set something up with me. I'll give you my Calendly and we can get somebody on a really, really good path where they're able to actually plan out their supplementation with superfoods for the next few months to really support them in reversing that condition. And sometimes even if you have all the knowledge in the world, the same reason I went and got this stupid piece of paper for 50 grand, people are like, oh, a nutritionist knows, even though that's not necessarily the case. So if you need help with somebody who really thinks that that credential is going to make the difference about whether or not they're actually able to, I don't like the term close someone, but for lack of a better word, you know, to help them really, really see how this will benefit their life. If I can support you in that way, then for sure. That's why I bought the paper. So yeah, any way that I can support you guys, please just reach out. I'm here. I'm going to give you my Calendly link. And if one of those times doesn't work, that's okay. I have other availability too. It's just the easiest to keep things on a Calendly, but we can do weeknights and stuff too.
Yay. Thank you so much, Sarah. So I'll post, I think I've got Sarah's link in mine.
It's just calendly.com/Sarah Brand.
So I'll pop it in all the groups, but yeah, I wrote it in here before. Sarah helped my dad reverse his type 2 diabetes. So he's the most stubborn man. And I got him on a call and Sarah just like explained it to him. And he was like, oh, I get it. You know what I mean? Because it's something, sometimes we can't do that. But Sarah is here. And I have to say, whenever I've done a live on Instagram or Facebook with Sarah, my business has exploded. So more lives, maybe some mega Zoom events with Sarah too. But Catherine, please ask anything you need.
Okay, can I ask a question about for myself? Okay, like it's like, so I have a question. So in 2017, I took a vaccination because I was going to move to Texas to be with my fiance at the time. And the nurse that gave it to me at my doctor's office, I believe she like ultimately effed up. And she gave me the full dose of what it was. So it's the Tdap, pertussis, and tetanus all in one shot. And after that, I thought it was just stress. But my period, like I used to have a regular period like my whole life. And I mean, I am older. I'm going to be 49, but I'm very young. My doctor said my doctor says I'm very young. And like I did blood work, I did like all these tests and she said I'm not menopausal or anything. But after that vaccine, my period literally like didn't have it for 4 months and I got it again and I had it for 8 months and I didn't have it. And now I haven't had it. And I had skin problems and I had inflammation in my heart. At one point I thought I was having a heart attack. So I'm just wondering, what are the things that I can do? Like I've obviously been on doing the period stuff since February, but is there anything that I can do to bring back my period? Because I feel like I'm always going to have it, but I don't get it.
So for me, for everybody, on top of the power shake, that's what I do in the morning. I don't do anything every single day, but for the most part, most days I'm on the core 4. The body likes breaks. So maybe you do like 5 days on, the weekend off, you do 3 weeks on. In the beginning, you want to do months on and then take like a month off. When you're introducing something new in a superfood regime, I tell all of my customers, stay on it for a few months. But after a while, we surprise the body. But I think it's really, really beneficial to add Green Spectrum and Aloe Digest in the afternoon for more gut healing and more greens. The way that we can help support our detoxification pathways in the body and our hormones as well. So like the type of sulfur in the broccoli sprouts that is actually found in the Green Spectrum, and also eating more broccoli sprouts, those are helpful with estrogen metabolism, hormone balancing. So I'm a big fan of just either more greens or Green Spectrum. I tell everybody to add that stuff in, and people are like, isn't this a lot of supplements? And I'm like, this isn't supplement.
Yeah.
That is my corner. But it's food. So more greens in your actual
life. Because I actually have been adding the Green Spectrum again. So I do the shake and then I add the Green Spectrum.
Okay, amazing. And I wouldn't do Power Shake and Green Spectrum at the same time. The reason why is because known. The body can only absorb so much at once. So I'm not actually a big fan of overloading my power shake with 20 different things. Like, for example, I see people putting Can't Beat This in power shake. I would never do that because there's caffeine in Can't Beat This that is going to block iron absorption from the greens. Always caffeine away from greens. So I don't, throughout the day, I'm like dosing myself with deliciousness, but I don't overdo it all at once because you can't actually break it. Alice, I'm not even reading the chat, but I just saw it pop up. I do both of those. Yeah, but that's
Yeah, I've been doing that too. And I even put the See From Nature in mine. Is that not
That's
good?
not bad, but the body can only absorb so much at a time. So to get more like value for your money, you want to actually space it out.
Oh, okay.
And then also for hormones, you're going to have to focus on your fats. So omega, so chia puddings, flax seeds every single day. And also for detox, nothing's better than saunas and steam rooms. You just sweat it out. That is, and also the easiest, cheapest way to detox is you drink a lot and you pee it out. That's
Yeah.
You eat a lot of fiber. And
I
you
do lemon water and I eat like asparagus and things like that.
Yeah, but then to go deeper, obviously, because you're already if you weren't already on Purium products, I would say you definitely need to do the ULT with the 2 super cleansers. So you take the break in between for 20 days, then you kill the parasite eggs as they hatch because one isn't going to do it, just to make sure all parasites are gone. And then heavy metal. Have you done a heavy metal detox?
I have the zeolite. Yeah,
Okay,
I have
good.
that.
That'll do
I've been
it.
doing that lately with my shake.
Cool. Okay. That's a really good one. When I first started taking fulvic zeolites, I was like, I'm going to do a heavy metal detox. And I like doubled the dose that they suggested. And I was like, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. And then I had like sensory overload in a grocery store. And I was like, oh, there it is. So follow the directions, but it's
so crazy because I think everything that you're saying, I've actually been doing. So I'm listening to my body and my body's like talking to me and without even realizing it. So that's pretty awesome. Thank you.
That's the absolute best. And then saunas and steam rooms. So I live in Mexico. So I go to like Temazcal's. Alice, if you come here, I'll take you. It's literally a Mayan sweat lodge where you go in this is not for people who are afraid of COVID. You go in this little concrete hut and they just put lava rocks in and they just pour water on them. And then
go to that.
it goes on for 2 hours. I did it last night. I think I lost 2 liters of water, but
That's
literally every
amazing.
time it's easier. The first few I had migraines after, my body was like releasing stuff and yeah. So, and you just sweat. That's how you detox. You sweat it out, you pee it out and you shit it out. That's
Yeah. My friend actually has a sauna and I've been using it when I go visit her. So it's just recently. So it's like everything that you're saying is actually happening in my life right now. So it's really
in
great.
alignment. Yeah. Really, saunas and steam rooms, as long as you don't let yourself get dehydrated after you make a really concentrated effort to overhydrate, then you're set. And that's how you support your body's detox. You're doing everything right. It's also good that you didn't start the fulvic zeolites from day 1 with the ULT. I like to space things out a little bit. Our body can only detox so much at once. And remember, as you're detoxing, how does it get out? Mostly through your urine. You have to stay hydrated so the toxins get out quicker.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Sam, babe, hands.
Hey, okay, so now I'm just feeling like I don't know what I'm doing. Like
Oh God, that was not the intent of the Zoom.
So okay, I'm guessing the things that I want to eventually always have in my like superfood pantry are the ones that I want to like ask you, like how far should I spread them out, and like if any of these maybe should be with like breaks, like you were saying. Like the zeolites, I don't have it yet, but I want it. Same with the CBD, because I used to take New Leaf Natural CBD and I used to take TRS zeolites. And I know that like those are things that are very important in today's toxic world, along with the ginseng, because I know that's kind of a potent one. And then I do have the ionic elements and chlorella. So I'm just wondering if any of those shouldn't be like daily rituals, and if, like you were saying, not to put green spectrum and beets with your power shake, like should I do only power shake and then just spread all the other things out into other drinks maybe?
Yeah, I might have made this sound really complicated but the simplest answer is just the body can only absorb so much at once. So just don't do too much at once. And at once could be like every few hours. Of course, we have a daily limit too. I like to take Green Spectrum with Aloe Digest because it makes it taste better. But also in the morning, if I did my Power Shake, my aminos, and my Biomedic, I'm now spacing out more greens and more gut healing by like half a day. And then also mid-afternoon is when we start to get a little tired. The thyroid slows down. If you had a morning matcha, that's kind of wearing off. So what's the best way to re-energize? Iodine punch from the greens.
Okay.
It's a really afternoon boost. So that's why I like to do it. But you basically just don't, the only rules are not too much at once. Like don't overload because you won't absorb it. It's now expensive pee. And don't mix caffeine with greens. Caffeine blocks iron absorption, but only with plant-based iron, not animals, which is why they worry about vegans becoming more anemic and more prone to iron deficiency. Plants have plenty of iron if you're eating a diverse diet, but you definitely want to be mindful because coffee doesn't block iron absorption from a steak, but it does from a bunch of greens.
Okay. Yeah, and I've heard that like with not to drink an herbal tea too close to when you eat your breakfast because it'll maybe inhibit you from absorbing the nutrients of your breakfast.
Depends on the tea.
Is that kind of okay?
Depends on the tea. With most herbal teas, they're mostly just diuretics like chamomile, just so don't count that towards your daily hydration. It's good for you, but it's a little bit of a diuretic. So it's not actually hydrating you. You're kind of at a break even, whereas coffee is dehydrating. Like peppermint teas and stuff, you wouldn't have to worry about that. That would be fine. But any black tea or green tea, that's going to have the same potential nutrient inhibition properties from the caffeine. So just keep caffeine away. And good thing to tell your customers too, because you also want them to get the most out of their greens and their Power Shake. Tell them do not have a coffee with it. Like space it out by 90 minutes in a perfect world, at least like 45 to an hour, but ideally 90 minutes away.
Awesome. Thank you. This is going to help having more superfoods throughout my day anyway. So
yeah,
perfect.
it's good. And then when you get tired in the afternoon, you will actually notice that it works. And if you're really tired, like take like some aminos with it as well, and do the Green Spectrum Aloe Digest. That literally perks me up in the afternoon. It really, really works. But I just don't do it on the weekends, just for a little bit of variety. But I may have overcomplicated a very simple concept, just not too much at once.
I'm like extremely literal, so it's okay. I just, yeah.
Sam, you mentioned the green, the cracked chlorella. Like when should we eat those?
I love that before a workout. For me, it doesn't really matter. That's food. Again, though, just I wouldn't take it with Green Spectrum and I wouldn't take it with a Power Shake because it's in those already. So it's just too much of the same thing in one go. But if you're about to go for a workout, that's when I would take those. Or it doesn't really
very
matter.
Energizing, right? They're very energizing. Okay.
And don't take anything energizing before bed. So don't take Green Spectrum before bed. Don't take chlorella before bed. That's another important tip too. Definitely don't take can't beat this before bed.
Or ginseng.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Also for male sexual health too, really nothing beats ginseng actually, as far as adaptogens go. So if you have any male customers where that's like, it's kind of awkward to talk about. I'm a nutritionist for a stem cell company. And so sometimes I meet the patients and I'm like, oh, what are you going for? And they're like, I'm there sexual health. And they get so awkward. And I'm like, oh, well, there's lots of things you can do. And so sometimes it's really hard to talk to people about that stuff. But if it's like, you know, or maybe like for an Instagram post or something like, hey, male sexual health, this is something really good that you can be taking is ginseng, and this is why. That's a really, really good one for men as well.
Would you put that with your Power Shake?
Yeah, you could definitely.
And then the minerals. I've heard someone say that they like to put their minerals in like everything they take because it helps with the absorption. Would you say that was good or wasteful?
I don't know that it's either. I don't think it makes too much of it. I personally find the ionic elements taste, I think it's so gross. So I do like, I get my little, I have shot glasses here and I don't really drink. So they're literally like my superfood shot glasses. So I'll put like a little bit of like, you know, some of my Aloe Digest, something that tastes good in a shot glass. And then I put in the fulvic zeolites and the ionic elements and I do it like a shot. And I keep that as like part of my routine. And that's, I tried adding it to my water and I was like, this is gross. And I wasn't drinking my water. Do you know what I mean? It tastes like dirt.
I just put it in my Power Shake so far. That's the only way. And it overpowers it.
Okay, good. Yeah. See, I don't know.
That's what I've done.
I notice it in everything. I'm pretty good about consuming gross things if I know they're good for me, but something about ionic elements, I just have to separate it from anything I like. So I take it every morning with the fulvic zeolites, but like in a shot glass. If you can stomach sipping it in water, like with your food, then yeah, it might help. I don't know that there's clinical evidence of that. I'm going to look into it though, to see if there's a benefit of taking it with food, in which case I might switch it up. But I have really good results doing my little shot glass thing. So I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, it's food-based superfoods. They're going to work no matter what, but I am into optimization. So I'm going to look that up, and I hope it makes no difference, because I like my morning routine.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Sarah, sorry, I'm just driving. So I just wanted to ask, the ionic elements, is it good to take every single day? I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, pretty much. I say for the products, pretty much every day. I don't take anything every day forever. In the beginning, it's really good for when you're trying something new, because you're overloading your body with nutrients. You're getting in a really good habit, and you're showing your body what's up. This is how we work now. We have lots of nutrition. We have really good cellular health. We're detoxing. We're getting rid of glyphosate. And then once your body kind of knows the lay of the land after a few months, then I just cycle stuff. So you can just take weekends off, or you can do 3 weeks on and then like 5 to 7 days off, and then 2 months on, and don't even cycle consistently. Don't do like every week, 5 days on, 2 days off. Surprise your body, because for some reason our bodies thrive on, even though physically and physiology wise, we thrive on consistency with like bedtimes, meal times, things like that. When it comes to food, we like variety. So just kind of don't let your body get too comfortable. But for the first few months, yes, for the first few months, build that foundation of health, and then kind of cycle in and out.
Amazing. Thank you.
No problem.
So cool. Thanks, Sarah. I always learn so much. I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing it wrong for like a year and a half. Like, this is why we need Sarah, right?
It's about like optimization, like healthy versus healing. We're like going to the absolute next level, which is what I like to do. That's where the fun is.
So cool. So if you guys have someone who wants to know more about but the science, how does that work? Things that I can't speak to. I'm just like, I just know it did work because I feel great. Sarah's the gal. So I used to, any like difficult people or people who wanted deeper stuff or wanted a specific regimen, then I ask Sarah, and they get on a call, and Sarah just tells them what they need to do. And they're so grateful because Sarah's a friggin' professional. This is amazing. I had a question. Just, Sarah, you're so good at presenting the ULT. Like, how do you word it when you're talking to people about the ULT? Because the way you word it to your clients.
The way I usually explain it is that when most people are trying to get healthier, the first thing they do is they go on the attack, right? Like, I gotta take some pills, I gotta calorie restrict, I gotta fast, that's immediately like, where do I attack my body? This is an opportunity to go the opposite route, where you hyper nourish your body, for some people for the first time in their entire lives. So this is the self-love way of healing, not the self-abuse way of healing. And this is actually the most effective way. It's the only way that really is going to work in the long term, because every time something goes wrong, you can't fire off your nervous system trying to figure out what you can take and what you can do in order to attack the problem. You have to love the problem. And that's kind of like, I think, an analogy for a bigger picture of life here and the way society shapes us to deal with problems. But with nutrition, it's the self-love way. So we are going to just overload our body with nutrients. How is your body going to react when it suddenly has more nutrients than ever before? Have you ever actually met your daily quota of magnesium, manganese, phosphorus, selenium? Has that ever happened? For some people, literally no. So instead of them worrying about, am I going to lose weight? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? How about we focus on nourishing your cells and then see what happens? And any problems that still persist after 3 months of hypernourishment, now we're going to get technical. Now we're going to do a little bit of this, maybe a little bit of that. But first, we always need to meet our nutritional baseline, and the ULT is going to help people do that. And if they want to throw in a green spectrum, I'm a big fan of throwing that in too for the afternoon. And then they're meeting their cellular requirements for really, really good, vibrant health. That's going to be an up and down process. I always tell people healing isn't linear. You did not get into your current physical health in 30 to 40 days. You're not going to get out of it in that window. The best day of your life, mood-wise, energy-wise, cognitive function-wise, might be followed by the worst day, where you're hazy and you feel tired and you're exhausted and you're not sure which way is up. And then the next day you might feel great again. So it's a journey, and, you know, prepare them for the journey, that not every day is going to be amazing, but this is how we build good foundational health, and it doesn't have to involve suffering.
Damn.
That was
See,
awesome.
I learned when I started with Purium, Sarah was running with me. So I learned so much from Sarah in terms of how to talk about it from this standpoint. Like, have you ever had enough nutrition? I hadn't, and I was vegan. So the way she words it, it's like, I'd never thought of that way of saying it, but thanks, Sarah. That's awesome. And I had another question. If someone wanted to do like a live Instagram with you and book, where they like ask you questions and you talk, is that done through your Calendly too? Like a little slot?
No, we'd probably set up different times. So with Instagram, you actually kind of want to be a little bit strategic to like, when are people actually going to watch this?
Mhm.
And most of my Calendly times, you're not going to get a lot of people actually watching it. So no, probably just I'm bringing my Instagram back. So actually, I'm also going to be diving way more into Purium, because I am now leaving my full-time job that I've had for the last 2 years, co-founding a food-based company from Los Angeles, because we are no longer superfood and vegan based. We are now whatever makes money based. So I'm actually leaving that. I still work for the stem cell company, but Vitable was taking up most of my time. So I do have a lot more time. So I'm going to be expanding my Calendly, and December 1st, I'm going to bring my Instagram back up after the Vitable announcement that we're selling fish has blown over. And then I'm going to be focusing a lot more of this. You're going to see a lot more educational posts for me, because I also had something in my contract that I was not allowed to really do the MLM thing, because I was a corporate co-founder and conflict of interest and blah, blah, blah. So now that I'm free of those shackles, you're going to see a lot more of me on social media, even though ironically, I'm not even on it right now. So yeah, this is a really exciting time for me. When I was building Purium in the beginning, it was the most exciting thing that I did. And I absolutely loved it, way more than I loved my corporate job. But I was a co-founder. It was my baby. I gave it my all. You know, I did that job with integrity, but now it's time to go back to something else that I like a lot more. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of me, and I'm here to support a lot more as well. So yeah, book with me if you need a little bit more nutrition support. If somebody, you know, if Alice is busy, something like that as well. I'm here.
Yay, thank you, Sarah. We're so excited to have you back. It feels like the perfect time, honestly. All of us gonna be,
Thank you so
I'm
much.
hitting personal blocks, and I'm like, man, I need Sarah back in. And I just know that when you're here, like, everyone's morale is gonna go like, and
I'm getting ready to
gonna
leave my
explode.
corporate job too. So
Amazing. I'm very, very, very excited. It's just the timing of everything. It feels right. So that's the beauty of this business too. You can go like balls deep, and then you can like back out a little bit. And then, you know, a year later you can dive back in again. So I'm also going to be doing frequent webinars and stuff as well too, where I used to do those like when I first started, but then because of my corporate contract, I wasn't actually allowed to promote products and stuff in webinars in case our network, whatever, that's over now. So I did like a parasite one, where I'm probably going to do that one again. I just talk about parasite cleansing, where parasites come from, why it's important, how the ULT fits into that. And then just another one on avoiding everyday toxins in our lifestyles, things like that. So yeah, you're going to see more webinars that you can invite customers to, because in the end, they're always going to be product focused, but also really educational, where ideally we don't bore people with a sales pitch. I want people to walk away really learning stuff and feel like they're getting a lot of value out of being regular Purium customers, not just from the products, but also that we're going to provide knowledge and support too, and funny webinars.
I love that. And you guys, a lot of you guys, I think maybe all of you guys weren't around when Sarah used to host these webinars. And I'm not kidding. So many hundreds of people came on them to learn, and everyone's businesses were exploding because Sarah's offering this free knowledge that's like, can you imagine? So there'd be like 100, like 200 people on this parasite thing. Like we did a parasite one too, and I learned a lot. It was disgusting. And then everyone at the end orders, because they're like, why would I not order after this? So Sarah's magazines are gonna help us a lot. They are golden. I've got some still saved on my laptop, I think, because I was like, I need to share this with everyone. But sorry, Sam, you have your hand up, babe.
So I will be doing those again. Those were fun too. And yeah, so I'm going to start that in January. So that will be fun. But in December, still utilize me. I will be back on Instagram December 1st. That's my day coming back where hopefully the Vitable stuff has blown over and yeah, on to new exciting things. So I'm very excited to do
We
that.
can still invite you into our Mega Zoom events, which is
Yeah.
dope. So, oh,
For sure.
Sarah, you're on mute.
Also, Sarah, I was from Hamilton
you,
also.
Hamilton, Ontario?
Yeah, I just moved from there to Vancouver. I was out in Ontario for 20 years. Yeah. So we know a lot of the same people actually.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. I was just back there in the summer, but it feels a little different now. The mood
Yeah.
has changed. Good for you for going to warmer weather. Really good for you.
I can hear you and see you now. I don't know what happened. So I wanted, sorry, I just was.
Sometimes it boots you out. I had that problem until I updated. They're like being like Apple
Oh.
forced it on me.
Okay, yeah, I'll try and do that after for sure. So I wanted to ask, you had mentioned lives and how important it is to strategically plan those. So do you know, or is there like a website or a way to figure out like when is the optimal time to do certain things on social media? Like live?
Trial and error. So like
Yeah.
when are people home, right? So evenings, even though we can't get that good lighting, we don't look as cute. Like 9 p.m. people are on their phones. 10 p.m. people are on their phones. Like you have to, when are you most sitting around on your phone? And I literally just figured it out, trial and error. You can hack the system sometimes. If you're like chopping up fruit in a bikini top at 9 a.m., you're probably going to have people watching, but it's really just trial and error. I haven't figured out like best times to post, best times to do any of that stuff. I mean, I had my account deleted, like not by me, by Instagram a couple months ago for posting about Big Pharma and all the stuff going on. So after that, like my engagement was just so bad that I was like, oh, I can't be bothered with this. So I haven't figured it out yet. I know the best thing to do is just don't say anything controversial, but that's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I caught you on a live the other day with like Johnny Juicer and like a doctor and another guy, and I was like, "Ooh, this got real," and then it got
Love it.
shut down. It was really strange. Like, yeah, they're
I
listening.
was on that live too. I was on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sarah and I did a live where we got into it and the sound was shut off for the whole thing, so I couldn't repost it. Like they know what we're talking about and it's not what they want us to talk about, so it's a shame.
yeah.
Well, everything's coming out, so that's why.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's all being the truth is actually coming out, so it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It always does.
But I'm so mindful of everyone's time as well. It is, if I don't know if is anyone got any more questions, otherwise I think what we'll do is like Sarah and I can do a live or a webinar at some point soon. You can invite some people on and just hear Sarah get into her, when you're talking about it and that passion, it's like, oh my God, like it's like you're channeling shit. It's so good. So but what's the best ways to reach her? I'm going to put the Calendly in, and your Facebook's just Sarah Brando. You're in the group.
Yeah, Facebook is my name. Normally, I will be back on Instagram soon. Also, this is my number. I just put it in the chat. So like, obviously WhatsApp is the quickest way to reach me because I don't have notifications for Instagram or Facebook turned on, but I just check it every day anyways. But just WhatsApp me right away, especially if like you want to, you know, if you book the Calendly, also give me a background. Be like, hey, this person's this, just so I can make sure that I'm prepared ahead of time, if possible. I mean, sometimes you might not know, there might just be somebody who's like, oh, I have a question about this, and it goes totally derailed, which is fine. But I do like to know kind of what somebody's conditions or preferences or something are ahead of time, so that we can just make sure that it's really tailored to them. Because ultimately, yes, in this business, it is really good to share your story, but at the end of the day, it's about that person that we're trying to help. So the point is like, I'm passionate, these are my background, but how can we really help you? So just get as much information ahead of time as you possibly can. And that's how you create like a win-win world where, you know, you get to have the blessing of being paid for helping people get healthier. It's like the most synergistic thing on the planet.
Oh, I love it. She's back. Okay. Thank you so much, Sarah. Is there anything else that you want to add? I just think everyone's just excited that you're coming back. When I announced this, everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, Sarah's back. So
It's
yeah,
just crazy timing. I'm so grateful that I have this, that I've like maintained it enough that I can jump back in. And yeah, like it's just the duality of this moment, right? Like Vitable, like my baby is like not my baby anymore, and I gotta like release. But now I get to go back to doing things that fulfill me a lot more than like sales calls. So it's good. It's really cool. So I'm very excited to come back. So lean on me whenever you guys need some support. You can also just DM me for health questions and things like that. And I'm happy to, well, for now, WhatsApp me. And I'm happy to help. And also you can connect me to people on Instagram too after December 1st when I'll be back.
thank you
Back in
so much.
Ontario? Are you gonna be back? in
No,
Ontario?
back on Instagram. I'm
Oh,
never going
okay.
back to Ontario.
Are you staying in Mexico?
Yeah, I'm actually becoming a permanent resident. I'm becoming Mexican. Not really.
Okay,
but
so
I'm
one of my friends just did that, and I was thinking about doing that too.
No way. Yeah, I mean, we're like the new, like our parents and grandparents were like Canadian and American immigrants. And now like me and all my friends here, a lot of us are Canadian. We all moved to Mexico. We're like the next wave of immigrants. We've gone, the other way. We've actually made the best move. The weather here's good. It's cheap.
I'm probably gonna come too. We're all gonna end up in Tulum.
Yeah, let's all go.
Yes.
Guys, I'm telling you, it's really, really good here. And this is a good place to like build a business and stuff as well, because you just don't need a lot of money to survive. So this is the move.
Yeah, it's dope. I love it. We're all gonna move that way eventually. But thank you so much, Sarah. I'm sure everyone else is like, yay. So our family grows and builds, and Sarah's amazing. I wouldn't be green without Sarah. I wouldn't be here without Sarah. She's amazing, and she has what Alice and I lack, and this knowledge that sometimes we need. Sarah has that in absolute abundance, and she's a business boss, and she's like the best human being ever in the world. So we're so lucky. I'm so excited you're coming back, Sarah. It's like
The timing's perfect, especially in time for New Year's. Like, damn, couldn't have
transformation. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm very grateful. I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you guys a lot better too, now that I'm leaving corporate. So this is very exciting.
Yay. So I'm recording this. I'm going to repost it in the groups with Sarah's Calendly link. So share it with your brand partners. And Sarah's going to be around a lot more. So we'll do more calls, maybe product focus, like certain illness focus. We get a lot of people with certain ailments. So maybe if we'll get a training, and that will be easier. But yay, Sarah. And I love you all. Thank you for coming on like last minute. Yeah, this is dope. And
thank you for
love
hosting.
you all.
Love you guys. Welcome back, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bye.
Thank you.
I love you, Sarah.
Bye.